Hello and welcome to day 5 of our Mental Health Awareness Week videos. Today we're going to be thinking about self-care and exploring that a little bit more because this week we've been talking about things that are the basics when it comes to both our physical health and our mental health. And that means things around eating a better diet, getting more sleep, getting quality sleep, all of these things that we kind of know, but we're not very good at doing. And what I would like us to explore today are the reasons why they become so challenging in our modern world. So, if we think about sleep, then we've had lots of really good response from people saying, "Oh, that's a great idea, didn't know about Epsom salts, what a great tip," or whatever. But the interesting thing is that we can have all the Epsom salt baths in the world, but if our situation, if our family situation or our work situation or whatever are causing us incredible stress, if we're in absolute overwhelm, if there's noise in the house, then it doesn't matter how many Epsom salt baths we have, we're going to have challenges with sleep and stress and anxiety. Because until we start acknowledging where the problems are coming from, and being able to speak up and ask others, request that they will support our needs, and we're kind of going nowhere. And even if we use earplugs to get us to sleep because there's so much noise in the house from TVs and computers and everything else and the general busyness of the family, the problem is that for all of us, even once we get into bed with the earplugs, we might find that we're so stressed that we can't sleep anyway. And so therefore what we need to be reflecting on is thinking, well, what conversations do I need to have with myself first of all, and then what do I need to be sharing with others about my needs. Do we have an agreed time as a family that the television gets turned down at a certain time at night, or that people go into a different room if they're going to be making a noise or having music on. It's just doing some of those practical things that we need to do so that we get our winding down period. We have that quiet time, that relaxation, because the last thing we want is to be having a bath in one room and someone's blasting music or whatever in another. So there is that need to sit down as a family or as a couple, whatever your situation, and just not be afraid to say, look, these are the things I've noticed that are affecting me. And it may be that other people just didn't notice. And often when we just speak up, people say, yeah, okay, I'll do that. That's not to say they won't forget, they will, because we're all human, we make mistakes. But the more we keep asking for help and support and talking about our own needs, the more people will be only too willing to help us. The other thing is that, if we've had a good night's sleep, if we feel rested, we're going to be less grumpy. So we're going to be more productive, have more energy, and that makes us better able to cope with all the other people around us who are the ones often causing the noise and the disturbance. So don't be afraid to shout up for your own needs. There's a great thing I learned some years ago when my younger daughter had chronic fatigue, and it was a tip around just simply writing down on a piece of paper, having two charts. The first side you put down, today I want to, and today I have to. And then write a list of the things that you have to do today or you feel you have to do. And then on the other side, write a list of things that you want to do. And that can be quite a powerful experience for many people. It's something that I get clients to do regularly. And some people find that quite an emotional challenge because they realise when they reflect on that they've just not been very good at thinking about what they actually want to do. And of course, the more we get that balance right between the I want to's and the I have to's in life, then the more balance there is with our emotional health and our mental health. Interestingly, we have, before I see clients, they complete a very lengthy questionnaire, which anyone who's done one will tell you that you lose the will to live just filling that in, because it will take you a long time to go through your whole of your medical history, right from birth as best you can. But right at the beginning of that, again, there's this very powerful question around what makes you feel better and what makes you feel worse. And people answer those questions, and sometimes in some detail. But interestingly, again, even just doing these forms is quite cathartic, because people will reflect on that and think, yeah, actually, I do have an idea of the things that make me feel better and the things I feel worse. But, how often do any of us sit down and think, gosh, I need to be doing an awful lot more of those things than I am of those things? And sometimes we feel we can't do that because, with the best will in the world, we're caught up in the busyness of life. So we just don't get round to things. But it is just such a simple thing, and yet it's something that we're all very bad, and I include myself in that, at actually doing. We run a business, and it's something we're very passionate about. We put a lot of energy into, and because we love what we do, it's very easy to get caught up in overdoing it, answering emails at night or Facebook messages or whatever. And that keenness to help others and to answer those questions is nice, but it's not necessarily the best thing for us. So I hold my hand up and say, yes, I do it wrong as well sometimes, and I need to rein that in and have the right balance there. But I am aware of it, and I do incorporate strategies to offset that, and I try and discipline myself in cut-off times regarding work, and I do build in the me time. And that's something we all need to work on. Now, this is all about ways to be kind to ourselves. And this is really, really important this week, as part of the theme of mental health, is maybe just sitting down and doing some of these strategies that I'm asking you to do just now. Again, some of the other things we spoke about were around eating well, having more fibre, feeding our gut bacteria, which again we all know we need to do. But if we're not feeling well, if we're extremely tired, if our mental health is in such a bad state, we're not even able to get our head around going shopping or planning a meal, then, all of these suggestions may seem ridiculous and impossible. And therefore, what do we do? What can we do about that? Well, this is where other people come in. And, if you're wanting to do something for somebody who is struggling and you know they're struggling at the moment, then one of the best things you could do, assuming you've taken care of your own needs beforehand, is that you can make them a meal. If they're not in the place that they can cook a casserole or a curry or a pan of soup or a shepherd's pie, they would be only too delighted if you made one and you dropped it off to their home. When my husband and I were ill at the beginning of the lockdown and we got the virus, we had a lovely lady from our church dropped off a pan of soup which lasted us 3 days, and which was amazing. We were just so grateful. And again, it was real medicine for the soul, not just because it was nourishing and we didn't have the energy to make some soup ourselves, but it was the kindness, and that kindness offered us nourishment beyond, I think, the nutrients sometimes. I think we really can't underestimate the value of kindness. So I urge you to think about people that you could help. It might be someone in your family who's struggling, it might be a friend or a work colleague or a neighbour, but try and think of simple things you can cook up quickly, that are fresh, home cooked foods, so that you can be kind to their microbiome and help them with the basics that will help with their mental health, and get them to a place where if they feel a bit better and they feel supported and they feel nourished and they feel cared about, then they might just get the energy together to try and make some meals themselves. So these are my simple tips today, and yet they are so powerful, so powerful. So please do think about these examples of your self-care, and about how you're going to be kind to yourselves, and making a plan, making a strategy. There's an expression a friend of mine uses a lot: fail to plan, plan to fail. And it's so true. So we really, really need to discipline ourselves to make those plans in how we are going to build some important self-care strategies. And it's all about ultimately being kind to ourselves. So I hope that you've enjoyed this week of videos. We are uploading them now to a little YouTube channel so that you can watch more of these on there. If you have any suggestions for topics you'd like to cover, then please do get in touch on info@nourishinginsights.com. As always, Harriet is in store today, and tomorrow we are doing our workshop on menopause. So this is going to be conducted as a webinar again, since that's the new default since lockdown. So if you would like to join us for our all things menopause, discussing the symptoms, what it's all about, the biology behind it, what happens, what changes, and how we can influence that with dietary and lifestyle support. Also examining some of the options out there, whether it's supplemental support, looking at the research, what works, what doesn't, and also our long-term health, whether it's our mental health, our bone health, or immune health. What are the considerations long-term with menopause? So that's something you can sign up for. There are still spaces, of course, because it's unlimited when it's a webinar format. So please do join us with that if you'd like to, and pass on to family and friends. If you head to the website and you look under courses and workshops, you will find everything under there that we are going to be advertising across the year. And you can sign up for our newsletter as well, of course, if you'd like to know more. So I hope that's been helpful today and that you've enjoyed this week of tips, and look forward to hearing how some of you are getting on. And thank you actually to lots of kind words of encouragement, which have been great this week. We've had some lovely messages across Facebook, Instagram, and people who've emailed us as well, who have found things so helpful, but also just remembering as well. It's been nice to remember people we've met in the past that we've worked with, who've done really well and who've been reminded of different things they've done, and are so grateful. So that's been really nice as well, really positive. So anyway, hope that all of the week of tips help, and that you have a look through them again and again, maybe as a reminder of things that would help you going forward. Thank you.